All right, we got sound. We got video. It's November, it's the Christmas season, but in the Northeast it's 60 degrees out. I'm not complaining, and you shouldn't either, as you get ready for another edition of One Round with George. Hit the intro. All right. Ever since I was a kid and saw Sugar Ray Leonard fight, I've loved boxing. I was at HBO for 15 years as a feature producer, won a few sports Emmys.
Not bad.
I got to travel the world and tell the great stories of these fighters.
Maybe something of a rooting interest in Alexander among the entire HBO Sports crew here, because Alexander's manager is former HBO Sports producer George Jacobin.
I've managed a fighter, I've worked a fighter's corner, being as close to the action as you can get. My life has revolved around boxing. Last week, November 5th, on DAZN, you had the women's unified welterweight champion Jessica McCaskill moving down to 140, facing off against Chantel Cameron for all the belts. I'm a big McCaskill fan, but this night, it was all Cameron. She was quicker, she was slicker. McCaskill did not look good at all. I don't know if it's because she moved down in weight or the fact that she's 38 years old. By the way, one of the announcers on DAZN said that although she was 38, she's in her boxing prime. Who's in their prime in boxing at 38? In the main event, light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol put on a masterclass performance against Zurdo Ramirez. He controlled every aspect of the fight. He had the much bigger Ramirez moving backwards almost all night. Again, he put on a great performance, and it's been a great year for him. He dominated Canelo, he dominated Ramirez. Let's hope that sometime early in 2023, boxing fans get the fight they want, and that is Dimitri Bivol against Artur Beterbiev to decide who's the king at light heavyweight. That night on Showtime, David Morrell showed that he is a player at 168 pounds when he dominated and stopped Aidos Yerbosnali. This fight was all Morrell. I thought it could have been stopped anytime after the 8th or 9th round. He was knocked out in the 12th. Sadly, after the fight, he was transported to the hospital, put into a medically induced coma where he's in critical but stable condition. This sport can be absolutely brutal at times, but in the midst of all that, the fight had just been stopped in the 12th round. Morrell was celebrating, saw that his opponent had nearly fallen down. He helped him back to his corner in a show of sportsmanship. Prayers go out in hopes of a full recovery. In a situation like this, a fighter has to depend on his corner to do the right thing, because a fighter will always want to fight on. That team, those people in the corner, know their fighter better than anyone, and it's up to them when a fight should be stopped. November 12th on ESPN, middleweight champ Janibek Alimkhanuly defends his belt against Denzel Bentley. Janibek's unbeaten. He's from the same part of the world that Triple G is from. He's a young kid with some skills. I'm interested in seeing where he goes in the game. And on the undercard, a fighter that I think could be a star, Sinisa Superbad Estrada, defends her minimum weight belt against Jasmine Villarino. You know, if you take a minute to look at the boxing schedule this week, you might think you're in 2012 or 2007 rather than 2022. Floyd Mayweather is in the ring on DAZN, fighting a YouTuber. And in the UK, the legendary Marco Antonio Barrera and former champion Ricky Hatton are going at it in an exhibition. And then next month, you've got Manny Pacquiao in an exhibition. Manny has not fought since losing to Yordenis Ugas, but he doesn't look like he's training for an exhibition. Don't be surprised if you see Manny Pacquiao back in a real fight sometime next year. There have been a number of legendary battles in the month of November. November 9th, 1996, Mike Tyson defended his heavyweight belts against Evander Holyfield. I was one of many that thought Holyfield had no shot that night against Tyson. Since coming out of prison, Tyson was knocking everyone out, taking everyone's belt. Sometimes he was knocking guys out without even hitting them. Holyfield had been knocked out by Bo in their third fight and struggled with the undersized Bobby Chez in the fight right before Tyson. But on this night, it was all Evander Holyfield. He dominated the fight. He dropped Tyson in the 6th and finished him in the 11th round to become heavyweight champion of the world again. November 10th, 1983, I was a teenager watching marvelous Marvin Hagler defend his belt against Roberto Duran. Duran was coming off a huge win against Davey Moore to become the junior middleweight king. He moved up to 160. He gave Hagler a good fight, but Hagler dominated the last 2 rounds to get the unanimous decision and retain his middleweight championship. So on a personal note, last weekend, I got to reunite with this boxing legend, Juan Manuel Marquez. When I was a feature producer at HBO, I was in the mountains of Toluca with him. We were doing a countdown show before his fight with Marco Antonio Barrera. This picture here is from over 15 years ago. Me and Juan Manuel in the mountains of Toluca, and this is us today. He looks great. He looks like he's in shape. Could we be getting Pacquiao versus Marquez 5? That's the bell, and folks, it's been almost 1 year of doing this show. This This edition of One Round with George is done. That exhilarating one round with me is over. Now you can go to my YouTube page. You can like the content, you can subscribe to the page, and there is more coming soon.